Hi everybody, this is Ben. I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about filling out your character sheet. It's going to be really important for the course that you have a properly filled out character. So just in case you missed it in class and you haven't had a chance to go over it with me, of course come to me for help anytime, but I did want to go over this with you. So I'll be doing the digital PDF, which I heartily recommend that you do, but of course filling it out on paper is the same process. We're going to start by filling out the top right section of the sheet, this first area. Player is easy. This is your name that you use in class so that I can pay attention to who's who and the records and things like that. Next is your handle. This is your character's name, or if you want to think more in the style of video games, you could think about what the handle is that shows above your character while you run around in the game world. I am a tabletop role-playing gamer, so it's definitely character name. I'm going to go with Narla Windrider as a name to choose today. Next, we're going to fill out the pronouns for your character. Does not have to line up with your pronouns, totally up to you. And my character is going to use they, them. Those are my pronouns, so I'm going to do that. Make it easy. PP is for PowerPoints. We're going to fill that out right at the end. Don't worry about it. And your guild is something that will be set. Your class is going to has decided in the first class what your guild's name is going to be, what your group is called. So here you're going to put it in. I'm going to make one up. I'm going to call us the Heartstoppers. So that's the top section. Next, I'm going to be filling out this left-hand section, and there's a couple of steps there. First is our ability scores. These are in blue, and our ability scores are important, and they make it more or less expensive to buy the skills underneath, with the exception of Vigor, which has no skills underneath, but is important in figuring out how tough you are, as well as how good you are at resisting poisons and things like that. So right here, under advancement, under level 1, it says I have 4 ability points. So I'm going to spend those 4 ability points in blue. I'm only going to click the blue ones. And I can see I've already got this smallest one, the D4, filled in all the way down, and I have a D6 filled in on smarts. So I know that's an important skill for me. So I have 4 points to spend. I spend 1 point every time I color in a die. So think to myself, why not just hop right up? D12, biggest size for each one, get them cheap. We can't do that. We have to buy them in order and all the way across. So I can't buy a D12 if I haven't first bought the D8 and the D10, and then I can get the D12. So I could do it, but that's 3 of my 4 points, which means I'm going to be pretty bad in the other areas. So I'm going to choose to spend my 4 points. I'm going to be a cleric. I'm going to use some magic. I might fight close up. I don't think I'm going to be very agile. I'm not going to spend a point there. I am going to spend a point in smarts because having it filled in at a D6 already tells me it's important for me. And if I read down my sheet later, I'm going to know that I use this religion skill to cast spells. So I know it's going to be important, so I'm going to buy that D8. But I don't want to ignore my strength, because what if I run out of spells and I need to attack with some weapons? So I'm going to put a point in strength as well. I'm also going to put a point in vigor for my toughness. That's 3 of my 4 points. Where do I want to put my other point? I might want to be kind of good with people. You know what, I'm going to put it in spirit, and that's my 4 points. Ability scores are done. Now I move on to skills. Skills are in the green. And if we scroll down our sheet, we can see right here, we get 10 points for skills. Skills are just a touch more complicated than abilities. And I'm going to use agility here as an example, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more on agility so that we can see that. So when I come up to agility, I've only got my D4 colored in. So if I want to be good at acrobatics, doing flips and things, running on walls, parkour, I color in the D4 first, and that costs me 1 point, because you still have to color in all the way across left to right. You cannot color in a later one before you've colored in the earlier ones. So I spend 1 point on that. If I want to go up to a D6 in acrobatics, because it's higher than what I've got in my agility, I have to spend 2 points to color it. So I spend 2 points. So to get to a 6 in acrobatics, I need to have spent 3 points. 1, and then 2, 3. But I'm not going to do that as a cleric. I'm not going to be really acrobatic. I'm going to go down and I'm going to spend my 10 points. I'm going to spend on religion, D8, and because I have an 8, that's 1 point. I'm going to do that. Crafting is also important because that's how I can make my own items. So I'm going to go 1 point and 2 points. So that's 3 of my points. But I also want to be good at fighting with a weapon, and I'm going to stand up close, I think. So I'm going to go point in that and another point in that. That's 5. So I'm halfway through. Now I have to decide what else I want to be good at. I want to be good at seeing what's around me, at noticing what's around me. So I'm going to spend 1 more point there. And then what else do I want to be good at? I think I want to be good at understanding people. So I'm going to put a point in there. And I want to be even... No, I don't. I don't think I do want to be even better at that. But I do want to be good at convincing people. So I'm going to put a point in there. Now I've got 2 points left. And I haven't spent 2 points on any skills yet, which is interesting. Do I want to be better at something? Then I am trained. You know what? I'm going to be really good at casting magic. I'm going to color in the D10. That's higher than my 8s, so I have to spend my last 2 points to do it. But now I'm done. That's finished. So I've completed my skills. The next thing I need to do, I shouldn't have zoomed out yet. The next thing I need to do is calculate my derived stats. We're going to start with parry. Now, parry is how good you are at blocking attacks when they come in, and that's based on your melee attack. So I've got the highest one colored in my melee attack is a 6, D6. So I take that number 6, I divide it by 2 to get 3, and I add 2. So it's melee attack divided by 2 plus 2. And so when I do that, I end up with 6 divided by 2 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Great. Next, I do my vigor. My vigor is also a D6. I am doing my toughness, rather. Toughness is connected to vigor. This is if I get hit, how good am I at not getting hurt? So I'm going to take my 6 again, divide by 2 for 3, plus 2 is 5. It's the same idea as parry, same math, but I'm using vigor instead of melee attack. The skill divided by 2 plus 2. And the pace for everybody is 6. Never changes. And those are your derived stats. So now that that's done, the only thing I've got left to do is take my edge. Edges are on the back side of the page on page 2, and we have one that's already purple. The purple one is what you get at level 1. I'm just going to tick to check that off. That's kind of what makes you what you are. So in my case, it's what makes me a cleric. It gives me divine magic. And when I read it, it says that it gives me 10 power points. So I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to put in my 10 power points here because I know that that's what I get. I'm not going to fill this one in as 10 because I'm going to be using my character sheet on paper, and it's going to change as I cast spells. So I'm probably going to leave that blank, and I'm going to change it with pencil when I do it in class. So now my character sheet is officially done. The only thing that's left is this big empty box where I can put a character portrait. You might use an AI art generator or anything else to produce your file. And when you open it up and you click, it's going to open a place to browse. I can browse, pick my picture. I've already generated this one in Canva. I'm going to insert it and click OK. And there you go. I've got character art. And now all I have to do is click save, and it's done. Now that it's saved, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go to here. It's filled. It's complete. I'm going to close Acrobat, and I'm going to change the file name. And I'm going to call it Ben9 because that's my name. And I want to make sure that the teacher knows whose sheet this is. And I'm going to put in my character's name. And I'm just going to put in the first name to save space. And I'm going to put in character sheet. And then we have everything we need. And your character sheet is done and ready to turn in Google Classroom. I know this was quick, but I hope it was helpful. And you'll be able to watch it over and over again if you need to. And always come to me for help if there's something that's confusing.